I will give the floor to my first panelist, and you have 4 minutes, and the clock is very strict. And if you start exceeding, I will stand up in an irritating way, so that you know my body language will tell you you exceeded your time. So first, Rob Bertram, Chief Scientist, USAID.
And neither an economist or a nutritionist, so I'm going to come at this from an agricultural and food angle. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. First of all, the importance of putting economic measures here, critical. Think about Jim Kim and his message to finance ministers and planning ministers. He's president of the World Bank. Hugely important, turning nutrition into an issue of economic competitiveness in a knowledge-based global economy. So that's a great message. And I'm pleased to say that my country just passed another law reauthorizing our Global Food Security Act for 5 years. $1 billion a year, and nutrition figures very prominently in that law, and if anything, emphasis is increasing. A high-level goal under the law is the well-nourished population, especially women and girls. So you could think that encompasses all kinds of malnutrition, including overconsumption and obesity. What's our metric? Stunting, reduction in stunting. So my point here is that the funding, the development investment in agriculture and food and nutrition and the human face that drives that is one of undernutrition, stunting, hunger, wasting, all the things that are terrible scourges. Now, that's one message. Now, does that mean that we're irrelevant to the other problems of obesity and growing problems with diseases? And I think the answer clearly is no, we're not irrelevant at all. Marie Ruel suggested as much this morning, that we can both positively contribute to both goals, reducing stunting and improving nutrition while also reducing overconsumption. And that's where we're getting the evidence around affordability. Harold, you didn't talk about it, but you've been a great contributor to that, Derek Hetty and others, and the importance of the affordability of quality, nutritious foods. And demand for these foods, animal source foods, fruits and vegetables, legumes, is rising, and it's driven by growth in incomes. And these protein-rich, essential fatty acid-rich, and micronutrient-rich foods are positive drivers of nutrition and reduced stunting. They are not the drivers of the negative dietary transition. And these nutrition-friendly foods are also huge opportunities for low-income farmers and rural residents to meet the growing demand for quality, diverse, and nutritious foods coming from cities and towns. And so my point there would be that this will happen, eggs, fish, meat, dairy, fruits and vegetables, legumes. This can happen, but it is more knowledge intensive, it's more complex, it's more employment intensive, all very positive, but it's also more sophisticated. It's also more profitable, so a great opportunity, as Matthew suggests, for a private investment. These are private goods, and the productivity gains we need to be on-farm, post-harvest loss reduction, market efficiency gains, value addition, food safety, all of them. A few other points. David Daw this morning talked about economic growth as being pro-stunting reduction. And I think one important point is that agriculturally led growth, especially in the poorest countries, is especially pro-poor, and hence further emphasizes that outcome of improved nutrition and livelihoods for the poor. We're also finding that in Africa, the food system, trade and transport and value addition is also very poverty reducing. So good opportunity there for South-South challenges. And I think the challenge to IFPRI and FAO is to figure out how we can help drive investment in these, what are essentially private goods. As has been mentioned, what is the role of public investment? What is the role of policy? And couple more points. Accountability. Evidence drives further investment. I think social and behavior change is a critical point for us to learn from other sectors. And the aspirational issue, Martin Blom touched on this yesterday. We should be seeking to harness the fact that people want more diverse, interesting, quality, and also more nutritious diets. One last point, this doesn't mean we give up on staples. Staples are still important for the poor. and they're still important for feed, for poultry, eggs, fish, animal source foods of all kinds. So it's not one or the other, it's both.
Thank you, Rob.